Everybody warned her not to betray him, but nobody warned her what would happen when his cousin became obsessed with her. Not because she was the prettiest girl in the room, not because she chased money, but because she looked a dangerous mafia prince in the eyes and walked away like he meant nothing. And in the mafia world, rejection is the fastest way to start a war. New York City never slept, but inside the velvet-covered nightclub called Noir, monsters came alive after midnight. The music shook the walls. Champagne flowed like water. Politicians, celebrities, and criminals mixed together like old friends. And sitting in the center of IP booth was Ethan Moretti, young, powerful, untouchable, the future head of the Moretti crime family. Every woman wanted him. Every man feared him. And across the club, Olivia Carter stared at him with hatred burning in her chest. Because 3 hours ago, she found another woman in his penthouse, wearing his shirt, laughing in his bed. Olivia's fingers tightened around her drink. 3 years. 3 years loving a man who treated loyalty like a joke. Her best friend leaned close. Live, let it go. Men like Ethan never change. But Olivia's eyes stayed on Ethan. No, she whispered. He's gonna feel this one. And that was the exact moment someone else started watching her. From the shadows upstairs, Damian Moretti, Ethan's older cousin, the family's most dangerous enforcer. The man rumors were written about: cold, violent, emotionless, the kind of man who made grown men disappear. Damian leaned against the balcony rail, whiskey in hand, staring at Olivia like he'd just spotted fire in human form. Because unlike the women throwing themselves at rich men downstairs, she looked furious. Real. Alive. And when Ethan ignored her again to answer another phone call, Olivia snapped. She grabbed her purse and stormed upstairs toward the private lounge. Toward Damian. Toward the worst mistake of her life. Damian watched her approach slowly. Black dress, smudged mascara, pain hidden beneath anger. Most women feared him instantly. Olivia didn't. You're Damian, right? She asked. His jaw tightened. That depends who's asking. Olivia, Ethan's girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, Damian corrected calmly. Her eyes flashed. Good. Then you know exactly why I'm here. Damian already knew. He'd seen Ethan cheat for years, but something about Olivia felt different. She wasn't crying. She wasn't begging. She wanted revenge. Dangerous women always fascinated him. So? Damian asked quietly. What do you want from me? Olivia stepped closer, close enough to smell expensive cologne and whiskey on his skin. I want to ruin Ethan's night. The room went silent. Even the air felt heavier. Damian studied her face carefully. You have any idea what happens when you play games with this family? Olivia smiled bitterly. Maybe I'm tired of being the nice girl. And for the first time in years. Damian Moretti smiled. By 2 a.m., half the club had noticed. Olivia sitting beside Damian, laughing with him, touching him. Ethan noticed too. And the jealousy on his face was immediate. Deadly. He stormed upstairs. What the hell is this? Olivia slowly looked at him. The calmness in her eyes hurt worse than screaming. You seemed busy earlier, she said. Ethan glared at Damian. You touch her. We got a problem. Damian leaned back lazily. Looks like you already had one. Tension exploded instantly. Security froze. Nobody moved. Because when Moretti men fought, people died. But Olivia stood up before things escalated. And then she did something nobody expected. She kissed Damian. Slow, deliberate, cruel. Ethan's face went pale. And Damian? Damian stopped breathing for half a second. Because the kiss wasn't fake. It felt dangerous, addictive. And when Olivia pulled away, Damian realized something terrifying. He didn't want her to stop. The next morning, Olivia woke up in Damian's penthouse. Sunlight poured across black marble floors. For 1 second, panic hit her. Then she remembered everything. The club, the revenge, the kiss. Damien stood near the window buttoning his shirt. You should leave before Ethan starts another war. Olivia grabbed her heels. Relax. It was one night. One night. Funny how 2 words could feel like a knife. Damien looked at her carefully. Most women begged to stay. Olivia couldn't wait to leave. That bothered him more than it should. You regret it? He asked. She paused. Honestly? No. Then she walked out. But Damien couldn't stop thinking about her. At meetings, he heard her laugh. During fights, he remembered her eyes. At night, he replayed that kiss over and over. An obsession in the Mafia world always turns violent. 3 days later, Ethan cornered Olivia outside her apartment. You think Damien actually cares about you? Olivia folded her arms. You didn't care when you cheated. Ethan's expression darkened. You don't understand who he is. But Olivia was already exhausted. I don't care. Big mistake. Because upstairs, Damien watched the entire conversation from a black SUV, and jealousy twisted inside him like poison. The moment Ethan grabbed Olivia's wrist, Damien snapped. Within seconds, his men surrounded the street. Black cars, loaded weapons, chaos. Ethan laughed bitterly. You're pulling guns over a girl? Damien stepped forward slowly. No, he said coldly. I'm pulling guns because you touched what's mine. Olivia's heartbeat stopped. Mine? She looked at Damien like she didn't recognize him anymore. And honestly, maybe she didn't. That night, the Moretti mansion exploded into chaos. Their uncle slammed his fist on the table. You would destroy family business over a woman. Damien stayed calm. She's not the problem. Ethan stood instantly. You always wanted what was mine. Damien's eyes darkened. No, I just took the one thing that finally walked away from you. The room erupted. Shouting, threats, pure hatred. But Olivia had no idea how deep things had become. Because while she sat alone in her apartment, a black SUV parked outside. Not Damien's men. Enemies, and one sentence changed everything. Grab the girl? Olivia woke up tied to a chair inside an abandoned warehouse, her lip bleeding, hands shaking. A masked man leaned close. You started a mafia war, sweetheart. Fear finally hit her. Real fear, not heartbreak, not revenge. Death. Meanwhile, Damien lost his mind. The second he discovered she was gone, the city became a hunting ground. Nightclubs raided, warehouses burned, bodies dropped. Even Ethan looked disturbed. You're killing everyone over her? Damien grabbed him violently. You think this is about love? His voice dropped lower. She made me feel something. Silence. Dead silence. Because men like Damien Moretti didn't feel anything. And that made him the most dangerous man alive. Rain poured heavily outside the warehouse. Inside, Olivia heard gunshots. Then screaming. Then silence. The metal doors burst open. Damien walked through smoke and blood like death itself. Suit stained red, gun in hand. Eyes terrifying. He untied Olivia carefully, and for the first time, she saw fear in him. Real fear. Are you okay? He whispered. Olivia stared at him. You killed all of them? Damien didn't answer, because the answer was obvious. Her breathing shook. This is insane. Damien touched her face gently. No, he said quietly. This is what happens when somebody touches what belongs to me. And somehow, that should have terrified her. Instead, her heart betrayed her completely. Weeks later, the city whispered about the Moretti family split. Business deals collapsing, bodies disappearing, power shifting, all because of one woman. But the biggest twist came later. Olivia opened Damien's office drawer one night, searching for a lighter, and froze. Inside was a thick file, filled with photos of her. Old photos, from months before they ever met. She flipped through them slowly. Coffee shops, bookstores, her apartment. Damien had been watching her long before Ethan cheated. Long before the nightclub, long before revenge, a voice came from behind her. You weren't supposed to see that yet. Olivia turned slowly. Damien stood in the doorway, expression unreadable. And then he said the one sentence that changed everything. I saw you first. Olivia's entire apartment went dark. Her heartbeat slammed violently against her ribs as footsteps echoed slowly through the hallway. Closer. Closer. Then silence. The kind of silence that makes your stomach twist because you know something terrible is standing nearby. Olivia grabbed the nearest thing she could find, a glass vase from the kitchen counter. Who's there? No answer. Only breathing. Somewhere inside the darkness. Then suddenly, a man stepped out from the shadows. Black clothes, black gloves. Gun tucked into his waistband. Olivia gasped and stumbled backward. The stranger smiled coldly. You should have stayed away from the Morettis. Fear exploded through her body. She turned and ran instantly, bare feet slamming against hardwood floors as the man chased after her. Olivia barely reached the front door before another man appeared there too, blocking the exit. Her breathing became frantic. What do you want from me? The second man laughed. Nothing personal. Then the apartment windows shattered. Gunshots exploded everywhere. Glass flew across the room. The masked men ducked instantly, and suddenly, Damien Moretti walked through the broken doorway like death itself. Black suit, gun in hand, eyes terrifyingly calm. Behind him, armed men flooded the apartment. Everything happened fast. Too fast. Gunfire, screaming, blood splattering against white walls. Olivia covered her ears in horror. Within seconds, it was over. The two attackers lay motionless on the floor. Dead. Damien slowly lowered his weapon and looked directly at Olivia. You hurt? Olivia couldn't even speak, because Damien didn't look shocked by the violence. He looked used to it, like killing people was as normal as breathing. Damien walked toward her carefully, but Olivia flinched backward. That reaction hit him harder than bullets ever could. His jaw tightened slightly. I came as fast as I could. You killed them. Damien looked down briefly at the bodies. They came for you. His voice stayed cold, emotionless. But Olivia noticed blood dripping from his hand. Not theirs, his. You're bleeding, she whispered. Damien looked at the cut like it didn't matter. Then his eyes returned to her. You're shaking. Because people just died in my apartment. The room fell silent. Damien studied her carefully, and for the first time, he realized Olivia still belonged to a normal world. A world where murder wasn't ordinary. A world he had already destroyed by entering it. An hour later, Olivia sat inside Damien's penthouse wrapped in one of his black hoodies. Rain poured outside while paramedics stitched Damien's injured hand nearby. The entire place felt cold, expensive, untouchable. Like him, Olivia stared at Damien from across the room. How did they find me? Damien's expression darkened instantly. That's what I'm figuring out. One of his men entered quietly. Boss, the shooters belong to the Romano family. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Dangerously. Even Olivia felt it. Damien leaned back slowly. The Romanos wouldn't move without permission. His man hesitated, then finally said the sentence that froze the room. Somebody inside the family leaked her address. Olivia's stomach dropped. Inside the family? Damien's face became unreadable. Terrifyingly unreadable, because betrayal inside Mafia families only ended one way. Blood. Meanwhile, across the city, Ethan Moretti replayed Olivia kissing Damien over and over inside his head. Every second tortured him, not because he loved her, but because she chose Damien, his cousin, the one man Ethan had spent his entire life competing against. Then his phone rang. He answered immediately. What? A familiar voice spoke calmly. She was attacked tonight. Ethan stood instantly. What? But Damien got there first. Silence. Then the caller added quietly. The family thinks you leaked her location. Ethan's face twisted with fury. I think I'd hurt Olivia? Does Damien? The call ended, and suddenly, Ethan realized something terrifying. Damien was already unstable over Olivia. If he believed Ethan betrayed her, war would explode. Real war. Family bloodshed. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt afraid of his own cousin. Back at the penthouse, Olivia stood near the giant windows staring at Manhattan lights below. She still couldn't process what happened. 2 men tried killing her. Damien killed them without hesitation. And somehow the scariest part? A part of her felt safer near him. That terrified her. "You should sleep," Damien said quietly behind her. Olivia turned slowly. "How many people have you killed?" The question hung heavily between them. Damien's expression didn't change. "A lot." No shame, no apology, just truth. Olivia swallowed hard. "How do you live with that?" Damien walked closer. "People like me don't get to live clean lives." Something painful flashed briefly in his eyes before disappearing again. Olivia noticed it. "You weren't always like this, were you?" Damien smirked faintly. "That's the problem." Silence. Then Olivia asked softly, "What happened to you?" Damien stared at her for a long moment. Nobody asked him things like that. Nobody cared enough to. Finally, he answered quietly, "My father taught me, emotions make men weak." Olivia's chest tightened unexpectedly. "And now?" Damien stepped closer. "Now, I think he was wrong." The tension between them instantly deepened. Dangerous. Intimate. Olivia's heartbeat quickened as Damien brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "You should stay away from me," he whispered. "But you won't let me," Olivia whispered back. Damien's jaw tightened. Because she was right. He wouldn't. Not anymore. The next morning, Olivia woke up alone. For one brief second, peace existed. Then she noticed armed guards outside Damien's penthouse doors. Panic immediately returns. This wasn't normal. This wasn't safe. This wasn't her life anymore. She quickly grabbed her phone and saw dozens of missed calls from Mia. Then one text message stopped her cold. "Mia, Olivia, don't leave the penthouse. Somebody's following me." Olivia's heart dropped. She called immediately. No answer. Again, nothing. Fear crawled violently through her chest. She rushed downstairs searching for Damien, and froze. Because inside the penthouse living room, Damien was brutally beating a man nearly unconscious. Blood covered the marble floor. His men stood silently nearby. Nobody dared interfere. The man on the floor begged weakly, "I swear I didn't know they'd target her friend." Olivia stopped breathing. "Friend?" Damien slowly grabbed the man by his throat. "You gave them Mia's location?" The man cried desperately. "I had no choice." Damien looked ready to kill him. "Actually kill him, Damien," Olivia shouted. Everyone froze. Damien slowly turned toward her, and Olivia's stomach twisted, seeing blood splattered across his white shirt. He didn't even look human anymore. He looked like violence itself. "What happened to Mia?" Olivia asked shakily. Nobody answered. That silence terrified her more than words. Olivia stepped closer desperately. "What happened?" Damien's expression darkened. "They took her." Everything inside Olivia shattered instantly. No. Her knees nearly gave out. Mia was innocent. She had nothing to do with any of this. Damien stepped toward Olivia carefully. "I'll get her back." Olivia looked at him with tears filling her eyes. "This is your world," she screamed. "People are getting hurt because of you." The words hit Damien hard. Because they were true. Every terrible thing happening traced back to him. His obsession, his enemies, his violence. And somehow, Olivia still looked at him like she wanted him to save her. That destroyed him completely. Damien gently grabbed her face. "I swear to you," he whispered, "I'll burn this city down before I let them touch her." And Olivia believed him. That was the problem. She believed every dangerous word that came out of his mouth.